Welcome to Mamlakak Broadcast Network, where we compare and contrast worldly views with kingdom views. Okay, but in my case, will be our sick care views with kingdom healthcare views. Okay, and today we're gonna have our first health bulletin for 2025, and the topic is gonna be all about high blood pressure, the silent killer. Now, this topic is very dear to me, the high blood pressure specifically, because I suffered, in past tense I suffer a high blood pressure. Okay. And when I didn't know the knowledge, when I didn't have the knowledge that I have now, okay, I was used to go to the hospital every year, 3, 4 times. I was hospitalized. I suffered a stroke when I was 31 years of age, and about 4 small stroke after that. Okay. I was taking at one point 19 pills a day, a total of 9 different medications, all for my blood pressure and to fight the side effects of the blood pressure medication. So I don't want nobody else to have to go through what I went through. Okay. And even though that now I am totally don't have to take hardly any medication or anything like that anymore, there's side effects that happen in my body that didn't heal completely because of the damage that the pills can do to the body. So it's very, very important for us to acknowledge high blood pressure and treat it and learn about it so we know exactly what we have to do regarding our high blood pressure. Okay, because I noticed that it's affecting many people. When I in my clientele, for example, as a coach, a good 95% of the people in my clientele that I treat, they all suffer high blood pressure at one point or another. Okay, and anybody that I talk in the street, when I go to churches and stuff like that, many people suffer high blood pressure. So we need to make sure that we attack and treat the high blood pressure and prevent it if we can as well, because high blood pressure causes heart attacks and cause strokes. Okay, and high blood pressure is the number one cause of heart attack and strokes, meaning that's why uh, heart disease and heart attacks is the number one cause of death in the world. So that's why it's important for us to learn more about high blood pressure. So let's put the PowerPoint so we can start talking of what is high blood pressure, what causes it, etc., etc. Why do we call high blood pressure the silent killer? That's the first thing that I want to tell you. Is because high blood pressure hardly have any symptoms, or sometimes it doesn't. By the time that you get symptoms of high blood pressure, you're already deep in it and already causing damage to your body. So that's why it's important that we know about high blood pressure. Let's start with the statistics. Do you know that at least 1.5 billion people in the whole world is affected with high blood pressure? Do you know that in the United States, 48% of the people, the population of the United States, suffer high blood pressure? 48, that's practically half of them. And the bad thing is about 42% of those people are diagnosed with what is called essential hypertension, which means that they don't know exactly why they have it. Okay, but they have the blood pressure, and only that a good half of those 48% doesn't even know that they have high blood pressure, because like I tell you, you don't have any symptoms. You get the symptoms when things are far worse, and because of that, people don't know it, and they don't find out until they get a heart attack, or until they start having really symptoms. And when they start having really symptoms, they already cause damage into their body, into their arteries, into their body. So that's why it's so important for us to make sure that we're checking our blood pressure frequently, that we are logging it in and taking it to the doctor so they can do whatever need to be done in order to lower your blood pressure immediately, until you do whatever you're going to do when it comes to your lifestyle and your eating and anything else that we're going to do in order to control our blood pressure. Let's go to the next slide. So the next slide will explain us what is high blood pressure. Okay, so what is high blood pressure? What is blood pressure in first? Blood pressure is the force that is exerted to the walls of the arteries. Okay, and when they read your blood pressure, you know that they read two numbers. The number in the top is higher, and the number in the bottom is lower. So the number in the top is, if you look at the first heart here, the very first heart is the blood that is in your atrium, which means the two cavities that are in the top, that the blood go directly to lungs. Okay, and then the small number is when the blood is in the ventricle, which is the bottom cavities of the heart, and it's pushing. Okay, it's okay. When the big number is when it's contracting, and then the small number is when it's relaxing. Okay, and that is your blood pressure. So all that pressure is going into the walls of your arteries. So what is normal? Wait a minute, I just pulled it up. Too many slides. Okay, this one. Okay, so what is the normal blood pressure? So if you have anything less than 120/80, that is normal blood pressure. Now, if you have less than 100 in the top and less than 60 in the bottom, that is very low blood pressure. Okay, 100 in the top, 60 in the bottom, mean 100 is the systolic. Diastolic will be less than 60 or 60 or less. That is very low. But 120/80 is normal. Anything between that and 120/80, that is normal blood pressure. Now, they consider that your blood pressure is elevating a little bit if you have more than, you have between 120 to 129 in the systolic, okay, and up to 80 in the diastolic. Now, they call it high blood pressure when you have 130 to 139 in the systolic and 80 to 89 in the diastolic, and that's stage 1 hypertension. It's like kind of saying pre-diabetes, so you have, just the beginning of hypertension. Now, you are second stage hypertension if you have anything higher than 140/90. If you have anything higher than 140/90, you already have stage 2 hypertension. You're causing damage already to your body, okay? Very important for you to understand that. And then if you have anything higher than I will say they say here 180/120, but for me, if you have 180 in the top or 170, and then you have in the bottom higher than 100, that is critical. You having a hypertension crisis. You need to go to the ER. Okay, you need to go to the ER immediately. It's important that you understand that. This thing's going too fast. Okay, so what are the different types of high blood pressure? They have, and do you know the high blood pressure in the scientific way, in the medical way, they call it hypertension. So you're going to see me on changing, talking high blood pressure, hypertension. We're talking about the same thing, okay? So the first one is called primary or essential hypertension. That's the one that you have high blood pressure and our sick care don't know the cost. But believe me, it has a cost. And we're going to talk a little later about that. But when they tell you that you have essential hypertension, that's a sentence to be medication for the rest of your life. That's what they're telling you. This is a sentence for you to be medication for the rest of your life. So Big Pharma and everybody can make the money from you. And the thing about the medication that is the thing about that is that it's very necessary. It's essential for you to take the medication because it's going to keep you lower your blood pressure and keep you away from strokes and heart attacks and other damages in your body. But at the same time, those medication in the long run, because you're going to take it for a long time, cause other side effects that's still going to cause your damage in your heart, damage in your kidneys, in your arteries, so on and so forth. So that's why you want to make sure that you do some changes in your lifestyle, your nutrition, and some natural remedies, et cetera, so that you can lower your blood pressure into a way that you don't need medication. But when they tell you that you have primary or essential hypertension, they just say they don't know why you have it. Okay, so then secondary hypertension is where you have a disease that causes hypertension. A disease like for example, adrenal glands, problems with your adrenal glands. When you have a kidney problem or kidney disease, you have renal artery stenosis because blood pressure is not controlled by your heart. Blood pressure is controlled by your kidneys. Okay, because the fluid, how much fluid you have inside, how much pressure it's gonna give into the walls of the arteries. So that's why the kidneys is the one that controls. So if you have problem with the kidneys, as soon as they fix the problem, then your blood pressure will get better. If you have secondary hypertension, some thyroid disorders also can cause hypertension. Okay, as well as sleep apnea. If you snore a lot, and you have a sleep apnea, make sure that you get that sleep apnea treated, because sleep apnea is another cause of hypertension, okay, or high blood pressure. And also people that have congenital heart defects, I mean that they were born with a defect, maybe something wrong with one of the valves or anything like that, that also can be a secondary reason why you have hypertension. And as soon as they fix that, then you can correct the hypertension. Then we have what is called resistant hypertension. That's another one that I feel, in my opinion, okay, this is only my opinion, in my opinion, I feel that resistant hypertension is another thing that our sick care call like that, so they can continue to give us more medication and more medication, more medication, because that means that the hypertension is resistant hypertension means that it's hypertension that do not respond to any treatment. Why they don't respond to any treatment? Because they haven't found the root cause, so you can go and correct that root cause, so you can correct the and give the right medication or give the right treatment or the right natural treatment, whatever you need in order to control the blood pressure. But because they can't, they just keep giving medication and switching and switching and switching. They told me that when I was, the reason why I was in 9 pills before is because they keep switching. I used to be in the hospital, and then my body get used to the medication, okay, and then the medication don't work no more, so I get into a crisis, I end up in the hospital again, and that was my cycle for years. That was my cycle, and the cycle of many of my patients when I was working in a doctor's office, the cycle that many people that suffer high blood pressure is going through. Then you have isolated systolic high blood pressure. It's when you have high blood pressure where only the systolic, meaning the number in the top is high, but the diastolic, the number in the bottom, is normal. This usually happens to the elderly because of age, their arteries are already more hardened. And so they have a problem with that. And then that caused them to have more higher systolics and lower diastolic. And then malignant hypertension is when you're having a crisis. What if you have the crisis all the time, meaning that your blood pressure don't go lower than 180, 170, over 100 in the bottom, and you have it continually, then that is malignant hypertension. Okay? So now you know what are the different types of hypertension, or at least the types that the doctors, separated. So what high blood pressure do to your arteries? The high blood pressure not only harden your arteries, the arteries have a muscle lining. It's made out of muscle lining. So as the pressure hit the walls of the arteries, okay, it's like if the artery is lifting weights. Okay, so the muscle get thicker and thicker. So if the muscle get thicker and thicker, the lumen of the arteries, it gets smaller and smaller. Also, as the blood pressure keep hitting into the walls of the arteries, okay, any extra fat that you have in your blood, any cholesterol, triglyceride, they start packing into the walls of the arteries. And when they pack into the walls of the arteries, they create the plaque. So the plaque is not necessarily the fault of the cholesterol. It's the fault of the inflammation that's causing the high blood pressure, okay, that is putting the cholesterol, is packing the cholesterol to the walls, the cholesterol and the fat to the walls of the arteries, okay? So what that does to your heart, what it does to your heart, if you look at the picture in the bottom, is that because the heart is also a muscle, is like the heart is lifting weight as well. So the muscles of the hearts get thickened and thickened, making the lumen or the spaces in the ventricles and the atrium smaller for the blood to flow in and out the way the properly like it needs to. So that causes heart failure, okay? That causes what they call cardiomegaly, meaning that your heart is bigger. So if your heart gets bigger, then you need more supply of blood. So it's going to cause even more high blood pressure. Okay? So that's what high blood pressure causes to our arteries and to our heart. Okay. So how high blood pressure causes strokes? Because what happened, remember what I just finished telling you about the thickness of the walls and all that stuff. When the blood is so thickened, the walls of the arteries are so thickened, and the cholesterol is like, if you look at the bottom, we're going to start to top to bottom looking at the picture here in the slide, the one that have the yellow in the bottom. That meaning that plaque is packing into the walls of the arteries, okay, and because it's packing into the walls of the artery, making the lumen of the arteries narrow, If you make it narrow, then sometimes your brain lack oxygen because the blood cannot go completely there, and that's when you get the small strokes. It's called TIA, transient ischemic attacks. Okay, or you can have what is called a lack of oxygen type of a stroke. Then also because of the thickness of the walls, it can cause clots. And the clots is like a clot that happened with that also with a heart attack. It clots, the blood cannot flow, and then you also can have a stroke. Then also, if the blood pressure is too high, and that artery wall can't handle it no more, it can burst, and that's what is called a hemorrhagic stroke. So that's what our high blood pressure does to our brain. Not to mention that because of the lack of supply of oxygen that we get because of the blood pressure and the hardening of the arteries that goes into the brain and all that stuff, people that suffer high blood pressure have more chances of suffering of dementia, different dementia like vascular dementia, Alzheimer's, and other type of dementia as well. So what high blood pressure do to our body? It can, like I said, we already talked about the strokes. It also can cause vision loss because of the pressure that it do to the little tiny bitty veins that goes behind the eyes. Okay, it causes heart failure. I told you about the heart failure. The heart is so thick and big it cannot pump anymore, so you get lazy. Okay, so you get heart failure, and then you can get a heart attack because if you get a clot there or it's get blocked with a plaque, that you can get a heart attack. It can give, especially to men, sexual dysfunction, erectile dysfunction. Okay, the remember that what make the man have an erection is the blood supply that goes into the veins of their penis, and if the blood if the arteries are clogged there and hardened, they are not going to be able to do their job. And of course, the one of the main reasons why people get kidney disease, okay, if they don't have a kidney disease for another reason, it's because of high blood pressure. High blood pressure can cause kidney disease failure. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so what are the symptoms? So remember that I tell you that the reason why they call high blood pressure the silent killer is because half of the people doesn't know they have it because they don't have no symptoms. Okay, since they don't have no symptoms, they don't know they have high blood pressure. Okay, and by the time that you get some of the symptoms, it's a little too late. Okay, so what are the symptoms of high blood pressure? Okay, and usually this happens when you've been having 140/90 for a long time, or you're having a crisis. Okay, so you can have a normal rhythm, you can have anxiety, you can have blurry vision and vision changes. You can have buzzing in your ears, what they call the tinnitus, and the buzzing in your ears that you can even hear. I'm telling you by experience because I had that happen to me. I can hear my heartbeat in my ears, loud, poo, 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 poo. Okay, so that's another thing that can happen. Chest pains, because it can be causing a heart attack or an angina or heart arrhythmias, problem with the heart. It can cause difficulty breathing. It can cause dizziness. It can cause nausea. It can cause nosebleeds. When it causes nosebleeds, sometimes it's kind of a blessing because that means that a vein bursts and it bursts and coming out through the nose and not accumulating in the brain. So, that is a negative and a blessing at the same time sometimes. It can cause severe headaches, and usually when you have high blood pressure, the headache is like in the top right here, the top like you're going to explode, okay? And vomiting. Those are most of the symptoms that people get when the blood pressure is very high or it's been high for too long, because by the time that you have symptoms, it's because your blood pressure been high for too long. That's why I tell everybody, even if you have never been diagnosed with high blood pressure, everybody should own a sphygmomanometer, which is the machine that check your blood pressure. You can buy that in CVS, Walmart. Some of the insurance give it to you, okay? And you want to get the one that take your blood pressure in the arm, okay? In the arm. And let me tell you about the proper way to take your blood pressure. The proper way to take your blood pressure is that your arm has to be at the same level as your heart, okay? If your hands is low, can the producer put me? Okay, yeah. If your hand is low, like this, when you take your blood pressure, it can give you a false high. Your arm have to be at the same level, rested in a table or something like that, at the same level. Not that you have to suspend it yourself, because then you're doing force. But rested in the table, okay? And you want to get the sphygmomanometer that you measure over here. When you measure the one that they measure in the wrist, half of the time, those one read high numbers. But you want the one that is over here, that you can check your blood pressure over here. Then you put the sphygmomanometer on. If you buy one that you buy at Walmart, Kmart, or any of these places, and you sit down first for a few minutes. Don't check your blood pressure after you're running all around the house, washing dishes, doing this, to sit down. You came from the street. No, you want to sit down and relax for a few minutes. Take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Do about 3 or 4 of those, and relax. And make sure that you are straight and that you are not crossing your legs. Okay, no crossing legs, because when you're crossing your legs, you're causing the more pressure needed to bring the blood from the legs up to the front, so it's going to raise your blood pressure. So you want to do it like that, and then you check your blood pressure. If you are in doubt of the blood pressure, you wait a few minutes and you do it again, or you do it in the other arm. If you do it in the other arm, you don't want the number to be more than 10 points apart, whether it's the diastolic or systolic or both. Okay. And then if you're in doubt, you can check it 3 times, and then the ones that are two the same, that's your blood pressure. So that's how you check your blood pressure. Okay. When you go to the doctor, it is important for you to bring your log. That's why if you already been diagnosed with high blood pressure, and if any of you that is listening, that is under the sound of my voice, are taking medication for blood pressure, okay, it is important and essential for you, one, to take the medication like the doctor prescribed it, and second, that you check your blood pressure at home, so that the doctor knows that medication is working. Okay, because what happens is that when we go to the doctor and you don't take your blood pressure, you don't have a blood pressure reading log, okay, to take to the doctor, and then you go to the clinic and you get white coat syndrome. What is white coat syndrome? That means that your blood pressure gets high just because you're in a medical environment, and you get high blood pressure, but your blood pressure is not really high. Just you get nervous inside, and so what happened that the doctor and the insurance tell the doctor you cannot leave the premises until he lower your blood pressure, and then he might think that that's the way it goes home and add you another medication. So now you're taking another medication, put it on one more side effects, damaging your body more, that you probably didn't need it just because you didn't bring a log with your blood pressure reading. Okay, and when you want to take your blood pressure in the morning, and at least twice a day, in the morning, and then at any time during the day, also, so you have 2 readings a day, and that's what you want to log, in the morning, because you're more busy and stuff like that, how your body doing when it's busy, and then in the afternoon when you're more relaxed, you take it again to see how your body is doing relaxed, and that's what you should do. The doctor usually diagnose hypertension or high blood pressure when you have more than 3 readings at the doctor's office, okay, that are high, about 140 over 90. If you do, then they're going to start prescribing you medication for your blood pressure. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, we discussed the symptoms. Okay, so what is essential hypertension? I want to go deeper in this one, because what happened is that 90% of the people that have hypertension have essential hypertension. If they have secondary hypertension, the doctor already know what it is. They try to fix it. We'll give you medication for whatever disease you have that is causing the high blood pressure, and the blood pressure will be corrected. But then the other 95% that have high blood pressure and that have essential hypertension are the ones that making big pharma a lot of money. Okay, a lot of money, because they are in medication without any reason, or not without any reason. You have high blood pressure, but they haven't found your root cause, what is causing essential hypertension. Now, the thing about essential hypertension, that essential hypertension have many factors that can be causing the blood pressure. It's like you need to go to an investigation. Okay, you got to go to an investigation to investigate why, and you need to advocate for yourself. And there are certain things that doctors don't check in the normal, okay, that you need to ask them to check, so that you can investigate why are you having hypertension. Okay, it's very important that you do that. Okay. Let me see. I I'm sorry that I just pressed the button. Okay. So what are the standard causes of essential hypertension? The standard causes can be, you can have a genetic, but out of all the genetic causes, only they said only 5% of the people that have high blood pressure have a genetic cause for it. Everybody else is not a genetic cause. It have to do with lifestyle. Okay. Also, smoking can raise your blood pressure. Drinking alcohol can raise your blood pressure. Obesity can raise your blood pressure. Stress, people, stress, stress can raise your blood pressure. Stress can raise the blood pressure even to a person that doesn't suffer of high blood pressure, can make it critical and they suffer a heart attack or suffer a stroke and they didn't suffer high blood pressure before. So stress is like essential. That's why I always said health is more than just nutrition and exercise. Everything else. Are you managing your finances? Do you know the vision for your life? Are you having a positive attitude? Are you praying? Are you having a relationship with God? Do you know how to uh, deal with conflict? Do you have the right relationships around you? All those things that people think that have nothing to do with health, they all have to do with stress, because when all those things are not controlled, you are stressed. So it's important that you control a stress as much as you possibly can. As much as you possibly can. Lack of exercise. If you're not exercising, not doing any cardiovascular exercise, that's another reason why you can have high blood pressure. Okay. Also, as we age, our arteries are less pliable, less soft in the inside, and of course, it can cause a little bit more high blood pressure. And also, your intake of salt is also can cause high blood pressure. But when I'm talking about the intake of salt, I'm talking about the salt that they add up to all this processed food. Because if you notice, when you go to the label in the bottom, when you look at the nutritional label in the back of any of the food that you buy, okay, they don't say salt, they say sodium, because they put extra sodium. You know, salt is the formula of salt is NaSl. I mean NaCl. I'm sorry, NaCl, sodium chloride is the formula of salt. But when you look at all these processed food, they have more sodium, and sodium is the part of the salt that raises your blood pressure. Okay, that raise. So all this, especially the frozen foods, they put a lot of sodium to the can. What it is, the frozen food and the canned food and the box food, they put a lot of sodium to preserve. Okay, so you need to eliminate that, and putting extra table salt into your food. If you already season it when you cook it, or your wife, your husband, whoever cook at the house already season the food, okay, and you go and then put extra table salt into the food, then you increase in the amount of salt. But let me tell you something, not all salt is bad, because salt is essential, sodium is essential for our body to work. Sodium is what helps take the extra water out of your system as well. So sodium is necessary. What do you think that when you go to a crisis, and I tell you because I've been there and done that, when you go to the hospital with a crisis of high blood pressure, the first thing they do is they put an IV with sodium chloride solution. So you are coming with a 180, 200, 120 blood pressure, and the first thing that they put is an IV with sodium chloride solution. Why? Because especially the people that already suffer high blood pressure and taking away all the salt of the body, okay, and not consuming any salt at all, then their sodium can be a little low, and it's making retain water. And when they retain water, they're swollen, and when they're swollen, the water is not coming out the way they're supposed to, and it's raising the blood pressure. So that's why it's so important for us to make sure that we're not putting extra salt, but it's not eliminating salt completely. We can consume like Himalayan salt or Celtic salt. The one that I like the best is Celtic salt, because Celtic salt or sea salt that is not processed, okay, they have also other minerals that are very important that is going to help you with the change between the potassium, the sodium, and the potassium, the sodium, the magnesium. So that is very important. So that's the kind of salt that you want to use to season your food. Okay, let's go to the next one. So what are The other causes that doctors usually don't check unless you tell them, that to check those things that you can be correcting to avoid getting high blood pressure, and to know exactly what is the cause of your essential hypertension. One of those is having high homocysteine levels. So what homocysteine is a molecule, okay, that help metabolize certain nutrients and proteins and things like that. When you have that high, it tells that your body have high blood that your body have inflammation, okay, and it also increases your risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and strokes. So you want to make sure that you check your level of homocysteine. So if they're high, then you have to do whatever it takes to lower your blood pressure. Things that increase your homocysteine levels are, for example, gluten will increase your homocysteine levels. Another thing that you want to make sure is that your C-reactive protein is not high. C-reactive protein is a parameter that they use to check the levels of chronic inflammation in your body. You want to make sure that your C-reactive protein is always normal, because if you have inflammation of any type in your body, you're going to raise your blood pressure. Okay? The other thing is oxidative stress. How is your oxidative stress? That means, in another word, how is your toxic load in your body? Because oxidative stress is when you have a lot of free radicals. So what are the free radicals? I explained that many times before. The free radicals, every time that we eat, we smell, we put in our skin, okay, we breathe, every time that we consume anything, the body have to metabolize it. And when the body metabolizes it, the end product is negative ions. And those negative ions, what they do is they cause damage into the cell. And if the cell is damaged, the cell is going to create inflammation. It's going to create insulin resistance. Okay, it's going to die or produce more damaged cells that are going to increase your high blood pressure and many other diseases. So it's very important for us to lower our oxidative stress. Okay, lower our amount of free radicals. Maybe by activating your body to produce more of the natural free radicals, so that you can kill more of those, of the natural antioxidants, so that you can kill more of those free radicals. Also, if you low in minerals like magnesium, potassium, calcium, okay, sodium, that also going to raise your blood pressure, because you won't have the amount of fluids that your body needs in order to be in a level that is normal, that's going to keep your blood pressure normal. Also, vitamin D, when you're low in vitamin D, you also cause blood pressure to rise. Cortisol levels. Cortisol is one of the stress hormones, and all the other stress hormones, epinephrine and all the other ones, when they're out of whack and high, they also cause high blood pressure. Insulin levels, that's one that they never check, and they should check insulin levels to everybody. They usually do your hemoglobin A1C that you see that I put in next, and your fasting blood sugar to check if you're diabetic, but they never check your insulin level. And they need to check your insulin level, because before you are diabetic, before you can be diagnosed diabetic and your fasting blood sugar is high and your hemoglobin A1C is high, you can have high insulin, meaning that you're producing way too much insulin. And when you produce way too much insulin, and that insulin that you produce cannot take the sugar or glucose inside the cell, what it does, it creates inflammation, okay? It creates fats, it creates triglycerides, and all that is going to increase your blood pressure. So usually when you can control your insulin levels, you control your blood pressure as well. So that's very important. Whenever you go if you are diabetic, if you are hypertensive, make sure that besides your fasting blood sugar and hemoglobin A1C, they doing your insulin levels. Okay. Another thing is, like I said, the fasting blood sugar, insulin level, because if you're diabetic, okay, that's going to raise your blood pressure. And what is hemoglobin A1C? Because everybody asks. Hemoglobin A1C is a test, is a protein that they check that let the doctor know how has been your sugar for the last 3 months. So that way he knows if your medication or insulin or whatever that treatment that he's giving you is working. Okay, so that's a good one, because no matter, you cannot lie to the doctor. You cannot tell the doctor, oh, I've been eating well, because that particular test is going to reveal everything for you. Okay, if you're not doing what you say that you're doing, hemoglobin A1C will let the doctor know that you are not being honest. Okay. Another thing that you want to make sure that they check, of course, they at the beginning when they diagnose, they might check your kidneys to make sure that your kidneys are functioning right. They might do what is called a creatinine and BUN, which are the kidney function tests. But if those are still normal and your blood pressure is still high and they have never find out anything else of the other things that I checked, then they need to do an ultrasound to see if there's anything structural with the kidneys that is causing your high blood pressure. Okay. And then the last one is the MTHFR gene mutation. Okay. This is a gene mutation that don't allow people to metabolize vitamins and minerals well, especially vitamin Bs. Okay, especially vitamin Bs, and also don't metabolize gluten well and all those stuff. So when you can, if you are not able to metabolize those things well, that means that you're not absorbing the nutrient. That means that you're going to be deficient on those nutrients. That means that you're going to get high blood pressure. Another thing is that when you have an MTHFR mutation, okay, that means that you are not going to be able, your body is not going to be able to clean the excess of the homocysteine, the first one that I put in the top, okay, is not going to be able to clean up. So your homocysteine are always going to be high, causing inflammation, causing heart disease, strokes, and raising your blood pressure. Okay, so that's another thing that you want to make sure that you check. So all these tests, you get some doctors that will do it, some doctors that will not. This is your body, okay? You are the CEO of your body. You need to take care of your body. You got to make sure that you're getting that maintenance and you're getting checked. And you are in all right to ask the doctor what kind of test you want to get done. Okay, it's your right to do that. If the doctor don't want to do it, you still can tell them to do it. Okay, they might tell you, oh, but the insurance will not cover it. Then this is your health. Make sure that you come prepared to invest on your health. Okay, so that you know exactly what's going on with your body, so you can correct it. As you correct those things, you're going to see that your blood pressure is going to get better and better and better, because we don't know exactly what it is, which one of those are the one. But while you are not sure what it is yet, or you haven't been able to check, you can correct those things a little bit by avoiding the gluten, by avoiding the salt, by avoiding the sugar, doing the things that you know in your lifestyle that are going to help you lowering your inflammation levels, all those things that you know that are going to help you take care of yourself. So how can you prevent and treat hypertension? So you want to make sure that you eat more nitric oxide rich foods like beets, for example, because the nitric oxide makes the arteries relax. The walls of the artery relax. That means that if they're relaxed, then the pressure is not so strong into the walls of the arteries. So eat a lot of beets, or you can do a juice or a smoothie with beets. You want to get either, and they also have the powders. For the people that doesn't like the flavor, you can get the powder. Make sure that the powder is organic, and that the company that you got it from had a third party check up to make sure that is beets what they have in there, and you can purchase that. Or you can go to the store, get your beets and make juices, have it in your salad. You can cook it any way you want it, eat it cooked, eat it raw, put it in juices, do a smoothies, etc., etc. Okay. Another thing that you want to increase is eat a lot of omega-3, because omega-3 also help lower blood pressure, and also omega-3 also lower triglycerides. So less fat in the arteries, less pressure that you have to go, that is going to be impacting, less fat that is going to be impacting into the walls, and it's going to lower the blood pressure, because the pressure has to be higher. If there's already fat impacting into the walls, then because then it hardens the arteries, and then the blood pressure has to be higher to move the blood. Okay, so that's important. Omega-3 rich fatty acids, that's the one you want to buy, one that have high levels of EPA and DHA. Okay, so when you buy it, when you go, let's say you're going to buy it on Amazon, you look at the one that have more that one that is made out of fish that is maybe from the Alaska or something like that have less pollution, things like that. And then you want to make sure that it have high levels of the DHA and the EPA. Another thing that you want to cut is caffeine. Caffeine raises your blood pressure. So don't, if you suffer high blood pressure, please do not have any of those energy drinks that they buy in the store, like the Monster and the whatever the other ones. I don't even know all the names because I don't drink those stuff. Don't drink those. And please, Starbucks, no Starbucks, because the Starbucks put a lot of sugar in their coffee, and then you have the caffeine, and you want to lower the amount of caffeine. I'm a Puerto Rican, okay? So we Puerto Ricans live out of coffee and bread, okay? And I had to stop doing the coffee. I drink coffee maybe once in a while, and what I do is I try to get the coffee that is mixed with a chicory and reishi and different mushrooms. So it's less coffee and more of the other stuff. Still have the flavor of it, but it have less caffeine and stuff like that, and have things that are positive for my body that are going to lower inflammation, that is going to help me relax, that is going to lower my blood pressure, so that I can get my craving of the coffee, but not the straight coffee, because that will raise my blood pressure and raise anybody's blood pressure. Also, like I talked before, the salty processed food, do not want to do that. Learn how to manage stress. Make sure you do cardiovascular exercise every day, okay? And also, you want to do cardiovascular exercise every day, meaning that you want to walk or run, ride a bike, swim. Those are cardiovascular. But you want at least 3 times a week, you want to do some muscle exercises like body weight or strength exercises to build muscle. But when you build the muscles, you're going to have less fat in your body, okay? And it's going to speed up your metabolism, helping you lose weight more. Also, another thing that help you lower blood pressure is dark chocolate. The darker, the better. Dark chocolate, okay? It will also help you lower blood pressure. Make sure that you cut down on the sugars and refined carbs. So, try to, if you like to bake goods, try to make it with almond flour or coconut flour or any of the other flour that is not a carb. Okay, so eating less carb and lower processed carbs is going to help you lower your blood pressure as well. When it comes to relaxation and lowering your stress, make sure that you do some meditation, you do some praying, devotional with your devotional with God, deep breathing exercises. The deep breathing exercises, what you want to do is that you stay in a place quiet, and you're going to take a deep breath, as deep as you possibly can, and you're going to count till 8. And then you hold for 4, and then you let go through you exhale through your mouth in 8. And that's extra. You do at least 5, 6 of those repetitions, of as many as you can, and that's going to help you relax. Okay, make sure it's essential that you sleep your 8 hours. That's why one of the secondary reasons of hypertension is sleep apnea, because the people that suffer sleep apnea are not getting, the body's not getting the rest that it's supposed to, even when they sleep 8 hours or more. Another thing is that you want to sleep the 8 hours between 10 and 6 in the morning. People say, oh, but I go to bed at 2 or at 3 and I'm going to get my rest. You're going to get some rest, but it's not the repairing rest that you get between 10 and 6 in the morning. Okay? So it's very important that you put a schedule and make sure that you sleep. Okay? That you sleep. It's essential that we do that. Also, you want to eat foods that are rich on magnesium, potassium, and calcium. And not when it comes to the calcium, not the supplement things. No, the calcium that comes, when I mean the supplement things, is like, you buy cereals that they're supplemented with calcium. You buy milk and they're supplemented with calcium. That type of calcium is not absorbed as well as the foods that actually are rich in calcium. Okay. And then take some natural supplements that are going to help you lower your blood pressure. So I'm going to tell you more about the natural supplements in the next slide. So let's start with the supplements, and then we're going to go with the herbs. You can have folate, B6, and B12 vitamins, or take what is a multi B vitamins supplement that will help you also lower your blood pressure, and it also help you lower your levels of homocysteine. And you want to take folate, you want to take folate, but you don't want to take folic, because folic acid, okay, is the synthetic, and you want to take the folate. When it's the folate, the name will start with methyl, METHYL. And the same thing with the vitamin B12. If you're going to take the vitamin B12 by yourself, you don't want to take the cyanocalabine, because the one that start with cyano is a synthetic, plus it has cianuro. It says in Spanish. I don't know how to say it in English. It has, which is a poison. Okay, so you don't want to take that. That's the one that they inject at the clinics. Because believe me, I know that because I work in a clinic for over 28 years and I get plenty of those injections. You want the methyl calamine, that's the B12. You want to, if you get in the B12 by yourself, you want to be able to absorb it all. So you want to get lozenges that you put under your tongue as sublingual. That way you'll be able to absorb all the content of the B12. Okay. The same thing, you can have the multi B vitamins that also can be sublingual. You want to take betaine. Betaine is similar to the, have also some nitric acid as similar as the cyanide. Yes, thank you, Ambassador Victoria. Thank you. The B12 that start with a CY, it have cyanide, and that's I know it's a small quantity, but still it's poison. That poison is going to create the free radicals, it's going to create the oxidative stress, and it's going to create havoc in your body. So that's why you don't want that. You also want the vitamin C, because the vitamin C is a great antioxidant, and it's going to help you clean a little bit of those free radicals. Okay, and it also help your immune system as well. Vitamin D3 also help you lower your blood pressure. We already talked about omega-3. Now, berberine, psyllium, cinnamon, and chromium, those three things help you lower your blood pressure because they lower your sugar levels. So if you are hypertensive and diabetic or pre-diabetic, you want to take that. You want to take a supplement that has those three things in combination: berberine, psyllium, cinnamon, or chromium. I'm not diabetic, so what I do is that, because I want to make sure that my sugar always stay good anyways, I like, for example, when I drink coffee, I like to put the coffee that I drink, I like to put a little bit of cinnamon in the top. When I eat oatmeal, I like to put cinnamon on it. There's certain drinks that I like to put a little bit of cinnamon, and I know that way it's going to help me metabolize my sugars better. Okay. Another thing that you can take is Protandim. Protandim is a supplement that activate your bodies. Okay, so it's really not a supplement; it's an activator. Okay, that activate your body to produce, okay, the natural antioxidant that God created in our bodies. That as we age, by the age 25, we're not making that many anymore, and from there it goes heal down, and we don't make any more of the antioxidants. So even though that we can take antioxidants as vitamin C, resveratrol, astaxanthin, and different ones, okay, it's still not the same. It will not clean the same amount of free radicals in the cell. So it's the ones that work better, that will clean up everything in the cell, will be the ones that God created inside of us. So Protandim is a combination of 5 herbs, okay, including green tea, turmeric, milk thistle, and Baco biloba, and I don't remember the other one. But that combination, the synergy of that combination, will activate a protein in your cells called NRF2, and the NRF2 will signalize to your genes to make those antioxidants. And when it makes those antioxidants, it cleans your cells and it lowers your oxidative stress. So at the moment that you're lowering your oxidative stress, you're lowering your inflammation, you're lowering your sugar, you're lowering your high blood pressure as well. Okay. Another thing that is very important that you want to take to lower your blood pressure. Listen, my husband have a little bit of started after all these things I've been going through, the cancer and everything. He had a little bit of high blood pressure. Okay, I find out about the magnesium, and I start giving magnesium. When they start giving magnesium, when I start giving him the magnesium, the doctor had to cut out the medication. He was taking amlodipine, and the doctor had to cut it out. Because the magnesium, what was happening with him was that he was having a deficiency of magnesium, and that was causing him to the Protandim. Just tell me, and I can send you the link to be able to purchase the Protandim. Okay, for the Protandim, Ambassador Victoria. I will put the link in the comments also when I finish the show as well. So, like I told you, the magnesium is essential. Now, if you want to get a cheaper magnesium, you want to get the magnesium glycinate, because the magnesium glycinate is highly absorbed. Okay, it will help you relax your muscles, and you know that the arteries are a muscle too, so it will help you relax your muscles. It will help you sleep. Okay, it will lower your blood pressure. So if you are like primary hypertension, you want to make sure that you don't get hypertension, then you want to take the magnesium glycinate. That will help you sleep, it help you relax, and all that good stuff. But if you have malignant hypertension, or you're taking multiple medication for your blood pressure because it's out of control, then you want the magnesium taurate. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. Magnesium taurate. That is more specifically for blood pressure. Magnesium that will go directly to control blood pressure. It's a little bit more expensive though. Okay. Another other two supplements that you can use is alpha lipoic acid. Okay, that also help you lower your blood pressure, lower inflammation, lower your sugar. So it's a very good um, supplement. Usually, some of the supplements that already have the berberine and the Ceylon and the cinnamon and the chromium, that means the Ceylon, cinnamon, and chromium, usually have a little bit of alpha lipoic acid. But I take an extra alpha lipoic acid as well to help me. And then arginine, because it's great in nitric oxide. And nitric oxide, like the ones that the bees have, is very important to relax the arteries and for many other things. It's also good for your liver and many other things. So that also lower your blood pressure. Okay, so herbs that gonna help you, that you can add it into your cooking. You can do tonics with it or shots with it. I do a shot every morning with turmeric, ginger, and garlic, and some other. I do one that have turmeric, ginger, garlic, cinnamon, lemon, and orange on it, and that help me also with the blood pressure. That's a shot that I make. You can make that also, but garlic lower your blood pressure. Turmeric lower your blood pressure. Ginger lower your blood pressure. Olive leaf extract also lower your blood pressure, and olive oil. Cooking with olive oil. The Mediterranean diet is excellent for heart disease and blood pressure. If you can have a Mediterranean diet without the gluten, that will be perfect. Eating raw or garlic. If you can just cut it in half and take it like a pill. Don't chew it, honey, because then nobody's gonna be able to kiss you. But you can just swallow it. So you can eat a raw garlic and it will lower it. And especially if you get the supplement instead, get the aged garlic, and it will be even better to lower the blood pressure and have many other. It's also antibiotic, anti fungicide, and all different stuff. So it's gonna help you also with your blood pressure as well. The cinnamon that usually help more the sugar, but it also help you lower blood pressure as well. Basil, oregano, rosemary, thyme, those are herbs that also lower blood pressure. And what a coincidence, those are usually combined in the seasoning, in the Italian seasoning. So if you cook something and you want to cook them with the Italian flavors, you get the Italian seasoning. You make sure you get it organic, and it will have the basil, the oregano, the rosemary, the thyme, and other stuff. And you'll be able to have some of those herbs that will help you lower your blood pressure. Also, you have the cardamom. Cardamom also help you lower your blood pressure. Soursop juice. Soursop juice. Soursop juice is something that lower your blood pressure almost immediately after you take it. But the thing is that it doesn't last the whole day, as a medicine. But if you're having a crisis or something at that moment, you can have some soursop juice. And I'm talking the juice of the fruit, not talking about the leaves. Okay, the soursop juice. Now you can have the soursop leaves also and make it as a tea that have other benefits besides helping you with the blood pressure. Also, passion fruit. The passion fruit. The thing about passion fruit is not for you to go to the grocery store and buy some passion fruit juice, because that passion fruit juice, because the passion fruit is kind of bitter, a little bit not bitter. I don't know. It's like it have a tang when you eat the fruit from the plant. Okay, they put a lot of sugar. So you want to get the pulp. If you can buy the frozen pulp of the passion fruit, and then you can make a juice in your house. You can add it to papaya juice. That will help you with your digestive health, and also will help you with the blood pressure. Or make it, with a pineapple or something that to add up the sweetness without you having to add in sugar in it. Then it will do the job of helping you lower your blood pressure. Another thing that is very that people hardly see it around, but you can find it here in any. Usually, you find it in a Chinese store or a Hispanic store. It's chayote. Chayote. I think that's the name in English too. Chayote. Okay, chayote is a vegetable that look a little bit like a pear. It's shaped like a pear, the same color like a pear, but it have lines like 3 lines like this. Okay, and the chayote, you can make a juice with the chayote, and that will lower your blood pressure. You know, almost immediately like that. You can make it. You can eat it cook. You can eat it on cook in a salad. You know, you cut it real small and put it in a salad. You make your salad crunchy, and you get the benefit. Or you can make it in a juice or in a tea as well, and that will help you with your blood pressure. Another thing that helps is hibiscus tea. Hibiscus tea will also help you lower your blood pressure. It's a great antioxidant as well, and have other benefits, including weight loss benefits. The hibiscus tea, chamomile and ashwagandha is more of those adaptogen kind of herbs, and there's more adaptogen herbs. It's just that I'll be here all day if I have to give you all the adaptogen herbs will help you with the stress. It help your body handle the stress, because it help your body handle the stress. That means that it will lower your cortisol. Okay, I will keep you relaxed, so your blood pressure will lower. So that's very important that you know that, and incorporate those things into your diet every day. Okay, now I have some alerts that I want to make sure that you understand, that even though I give you all these supplements, I don't want you to go now home and say, okay, I'm not going to take my blood pressure medication, I'm going to start these supplements. No. The supplements are good to treat, but it's good to prevent. But you don't take away, you don't go away of your medication, because high blood pressure medication is a life and death situation. It's what I call a bat that we need, a bat that you need if you're not doing anything to figure out what is the reason that you have high blood pressure, correct it, and then have a healthy lifestyle. Once you do all that, then only the doctor can remove you from your blood pressure. So make sure that you take your blood pressure medication as the doctor directed, because when you don't take them, when you jump a day or don't take it for a few days, your body and your arteries and your heart now is used to beat this way, because you have the medication. No, beat this way, beat this way. Now you stop the medication, your blood pressure suddenly rise up, and now you're beating like this, ta 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 ta. You can cause yourself a heart attack. You don't stop blood pressure medication suddenly. They had to titrate it to take you away from blood pressure medication. Okay, so take it as the doctor directed to you. Monitor your blood pressure daily and log it so you can take it to the doctor. I explained that to you already before. It's very important that you log it in so you can take it to the doctor, so the doctor don't add you any other medication, and especially if you put to practice all the things, natural things and supplements and stuff that I tell you. Okay, you make sure that you tell the doctor, and at the same time, if the blood pressure is getting better, then the doctor can start titrating the medication or remove it. So do not stop any medication on your own. You need supervision, medical supervision. A doctor, MD, licensed doctor, not even me as a coach, can tell you to stop medication. If you have a coach, a nutritionist, okay, a holistic practitioner that tell you to stop the medication, that's not the one that you want to work with, okay? They cannot tell you to stop any medication. The doctor and MD is the only. You can make the changes. You can let the doctor know what you're taking and make the changes, okay? And make sure that you monitor. And the thing is that when you're doing all these changes, you have to monitor, because if your blood pressure start dipping, you want to make sure you don't go too low. So you want to make sure that as soon as it start dipping, you call your doctor. Hey, doctor, my blood pressure is like that. Can I make an appointment, or should I cut the medication in half or something like that? But only by the instructions of your doctor. Okay, because as you adopt a healthier lifestyle and you start correcting the root causes and incorporating some of the natural resources to lower your blood pressure, okay, then your blood pressure readings are going to get better, and you're going to be able to eventually get out of those medications. So like I said, very important that you take medication correctly, because it's a life and death situation. So if you are being diagnosed with essential hypertension, make sure that you take go back into the video, take a picture of the slide of the other tests that you should be checking to make sure that they check everything, okay, before they really say that there's no reason, and start correcting all these things, like to eat better, relax better, sleep better, apply some of the supplements. And you don't take all of those supplements at the same time. No, you take what is needed for you. Like if you suffer of diabetes, you might want the one that have the berberine and the cinnamon and something like that, and the protandim, and that will be enough, and unless you want to add, the garlic or something, but you don't want to be drinking all of them at the same time or anything like that. Too much of a good thing is also bad. Okay? So thank you so much. If you have any questions, anybody have any questions, let me know. You can write it there, or you can let me know right now. And because we are done with the blood pressure. We are done. That's what I said myself. I am done. No more blood pressure. No more. So what can a person take naturally to raise the low blood pressure? So if you're having an episode of low blood pressure and you want to raise it, then that's when you have your coffee, because that will raise your blood pressure rapidly. That's when you can put a little bit of salt in your food, and that will raise a little bit your blood pressure. And you want to have more fluids. Usually people, when they are dehydrated, when you are very, 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 very dehydrated, then your blood pressure can dip into very low blood pressures. So make sure that you drink plenty of fluid. You can you can add a little bit of salt into the water, Celtic salt or sea salt into the water to drink it, so that way you retain the water. Because that's another thing. Sometimes we drink a lot of water, but the water is not going inside the cell because we have low sodium. Okay, so make sure that you put a little bit of the whatever that you can. Can lemongrass raise my blood pressure? I'm not sure about lemongrass, so I have to figure that out. I have to find out and let you know if it does, because I'm not sure. Because I know that lemon help you lower your blood pressure, but I'm not sure about lemongrass. But I will find out for you, and I will let you know, Ambassador Victoria. Any other questions? Okay, good. Let me see. Okay. So that would be all for today. Make sure that you share this information. Like I said, 50% of the population have this, so share. And make sure that you share the information in Facebook, Tumblr, TikTok, and all the places that you know that we are there. And share your video from YouTube with the other people that you want, and all the different social media, okay? And